Hi everyone and welcome to Protocol 36. And in today's video we'll be talking about the big news that Marvel Studios decided to reveal at Comic Con, and that is Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. In this video I'm going to try and make sense of it to the best of my ability, as they are currently writing it, and pretty much it's a surprise no one saw coming, for better or for worse. However, before I get started, I would really appreciate if you like this video, as that would really show your support. Thank you. As mentioned before, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom is something we didn't see coming. But why bring back the actor who everyone sees as Iron Man and has been playing Iron Man for over a decade come back as Doctor Doom? There are multiple reasons why. Many people discussed it, such as infamous Iron Man, the what if stories where Tony Stark became Doctor Doom, and etc. However, I don't think some of these are gonna. I think there are going to be some elements such as infamous Iron Man, and I will explain why. However, before I do that, I want to talk about whether this version of Doctor Doom is someone who is a good person or bad guy. The reason why is because if he's a good person, if he's a good guy, then of course, then that's going to immediately confirm that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is not going to be the main villain of Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. As many of you know, Doctor Doom played a massive role in both versions of Secret Wars, the 1980s and the 2015, which is most likely what Marvel Studios are going to be going for, since it's the multiverse saga. And that story is all about the multiverse. As many people are speculating right now, including myself, I don't think Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is the main version of Doctor Doom that we will be expecting from those films. I think he will be playing a version of Doom, not Tony Stark, as I believe Joe Russo did actually confirm that he will be playing Victor Von Doom and not Tony Stark, who has become Doctor Doom. So in this case, we might be looking at something similar to infamous Iron Man. A lot of people have been mentioning that story a lot. However, if you don't know what that story is, it's basically after Secret Wars, a reformed Doctor Doom becomes Iron Man after Tony Stark, quote unquote, dies at the end of Civil War Part 2, which leads to Victor to become the next Iron Man, essentially. It's also the period where Riri Williams also becomes Ironheart and is guided by an AI Tony Stark. So I believe that the version of Doom that Robert Downey Jr. is playing is probably a reformed Doom who will be very important, and may even introduce the main threat, the main Doom of both Doomsday and Secret Wars. And the main version of Doom may or may not be from the 616 universe, the MCU 616 that is. And I think it will go down very similar to how in the beginning of Secret Wars, Doctor Doom was trying to save the multiverse and pretty much put all the pieces together. However, I do think that the main Doom in the MCU, whoever will play that role, will try and save the multiverse, just like in the 2015 Secret Wars, and will eventually create Battleworld. However, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is trying to actually save the multiverse from being destroyed, and is trying to make sure that every Earth is saved, rather than creating a version of Battleworld, because that would still require the multiverse to be destroyed and incursions to still happen, which is what he's trying to avoid to begin with. And if he sees that he may not be able to be successful in stopping the main version of Doom, he might even create a life raft to protect himself and his allies against the upcoming incursions that will happen in his universe. Kind of similar to the Maker in the Ultimate Universe, who is basically Reed Richards from Earth 1610. So he might even take up the role of the Maker. And if that's the case and it's done really well, then I can see that happen and would make a lot of sense, as I don't think they would want the actor who's been playing Iron Man for 11 years to be, the big bad of the multiverse saga, especially when there has to be a story to that face. There would have to be something where the heroes would have to recognize that face, because that was, the face of their friend who sacrificed their life to save all of them. I don't think it would be wise to have them basically fight against the guy who's wearing the face of their ally. So I think, if anything, this is just a variant of Doctor Doom that happens to look like 616 Iron Man, and in that way that will some way gain the trust of the main Avengers of 616, as they wouldn't know anything about Doom, and if they did, then they would know their version of Doom, who would probably be introduced by then. And if that's the case, then they would know that Doom is a very evil individual. So they definitely wouldn't trust any version of Doom to begin with. However, if there's one that looks like Tony Stark, the one who sacrificed his life to save them, the one who was looked up to in the main universe, then there would be an innate trust. Even if they don't want to trust him, they would at least want to give him a chance, especially if he proves to them that he's actually a good guy and he's trying to help. and it's actually reformed as well. Now, I don't know if this version of Doom is going to be from the universe where the Fantastic Four are going to be placed in, which we're going to see next year. It's very, very possible, and if that's the case, he's definitely going to show up in the post-credit scene of that film, especially when Kevin Feige did confirm that the Fantastic Four are going to be in both Doomsday and Secret Wars, as they are, well, specifically Reed is essentially the main character of that story, of Secret Wars, that is. But if that's the case, if he's actually from the same universe as Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards, then there would already be a past between them, and they would probably put their differences aside. But given that this is our first introduction to the Fantastic Four, and it seems like it's a very, very early days into their career, I think that's very, very unlikely, as in real life it did take decades for Doctor Doom to be reformed. Of course, he went back to a villain because that's correct, but still, there was a massive event that led to him to be good. So the more I think about it, it's very unlikely that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is from the same universe as Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. However, it's still definitely possible. Either way, I do think that he will show up in the post-credit scene of that film, just to set up both of those films as they are coming out in 2026, so just a year after Fantastic Four. And in that time, they need something to hype everyone up, just like how Thor Ragnarok hyped everyone up for Infinity War at the end of that post-credit scene of that film. However, when it comes to the main version of Doom, the main villain, I do think that it's either going to be from the 616 universe or from Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards' universe, that Fantastic Four's universe. And it would make a lot of sense for him to be from the Fantastic Four's universe, but of course that universe gets destroyed, or the Earth of that universe specifically gets destroyed by Galactus. And of course, when the Fantastic Four goes to our universe, the 616 universe, Doctor Doom will definitely follow them as well, as there needs to be a past between Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom. There has to be. It's kind of a canon event, if you will, for the Fantastic Four, that Reed and Doom has to have a past, and they would have to have that innate rivalry. Even if Reed Richards always wanted to be Doom's friend, Doom doesn't want anything to do with Richards and always hated him and will continue to hate him. So I do think that the main villain of Doomsday and Secret Wars, that Doom, that Doctor Doom that isn't Robert Downey Jr. and will most likely be played by a different actor, will be from the same universe the Fantastic Four is from. And if that's the case and it's done well, then I can definitely see this happen, as everyone pretty much agrees that the Fantastic Four will soon come over to the 616 universe and basically adjust to their life there, and will try to adjust their life there in the present, kind of like how Captain America tried to adjust his life during the Infinity Saga after coming from the 1940s. So this is basically me trying to make sense of Robert Downey Jr. being Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So yeah, I do think there will be a different version of Doom that will be the actual main villain, and he will become God Emperor Doom in those films, which of course would lead to his victory at the end of Doomsday, just like how Thanos won at the end of Infinity War. But yeah, so this is just my theory. Let me know what you think of it down below. Do you actually believe that Robert Downey Jr. will be playing the main version of Doom in the MCU? And if so, tell me why. And if you believe, like I do, there will be another version of Doom that will actually be the main villain, then feel free to tell me down below in the comments. Don't forget to like this video to show support, and subscribe to begin Product 36.